Nickelodeon game, very funny. I know what you're thinking. Man, this looks kind of funky, or weird, or gross. And you know what? You're right. But what the hell is it? What makes it different? Why are people talking about it? Where the fuck is Squidward? You got SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy, but no Squidward? This is an atrocity, okay? The fuck, man? No Krusty Krab level also offends me to an unholy degree. Now, if you didn't know, Ludosity behind a Nickelodeon game is fantastic. They made Slap City, a banger game with not much recognition. Super Smash Ultimate came out within weeks of this early access release, and it was immediately overshadowed from then on, but I had a blast with it for a while. But Slap City was really important, because Slap City gave Ludosity enough recognition and experience to get the attention of Nickelodeon Game Studios to get them to create the funny Patrick mid-stage suicide kill, and everything else in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Now, I think it's important, before I get into stuff, to know that Ludosity, after this game was announced, they effectively stated that their main goal is to create a competitive platform fighter. And I think it's important to judge the game by how they themselves have declared it as such. That is not to say that a game with a competitive core cannot be played casually or for fun, because the game is incredibly fun casually, to say the least. Personally, I'm a big fan of the fun competitive level of gameplay, where you're competitive enough to have a good grasp on all of the mechanics and just play accordingly, but still just play for funsies. Maybe one day I'll try to legitimately be competitive at something, but until then, I'm gonna enjoy myself. But I digress. Let's get into what sets this game aside from Smash by going over just the general mechanics, because I think it's important when you're viewing this game, you see it and you're like, what the fuck is happening? But if you know what all the mechanics are in any given game, watching it makes it that much more enjoyable. It doesn't matter what it is, there's just the knowledge gap that is required to be crossed in order to fucking understand what's happening. Because guys, I know if you've seen this game, it just looks so fucking weird and jank. But I promise, you hear me out for the next 5 minutes to understand what's going on. Then go watch Ludwig's $20,000 crew battle. That's 20, yeah, you heard that. And come back, leave a comment, whatever the hell. This is SpongeBob. I think SpongeBob has incredibly visually clear moves for teaching the basics. You've got a light attack, you've got a heavy attack, and you got a special attack. These are the attack buttons. Down light, up light, just forward light. Light attacks are for comboing with a smaller hit. Heavy attacks will hit further. That's just kind of how it goes. You got an up special. You got down special. Perfect. And you got bubble. There is a grab. You can grab. You can run off. The grab mechanic you can also just use in the air, which is fantastic. You can air dash in several directions. You got this kind of like analog 5 different directions, left, right, up, angle. Thing is, there's a special property for the down air dash. Instead of a fast fall mechanic where you just hold down, you have this air dash down, which you can angle slightly. The air dash down is incredibly fast, and when you're on the ground, it lets you do this, which is called wave dashing. Now, wave dashing is not difficult in this game. You just hit the dash button and jump button. The pace of movement in this game is insanely fast when you get into the high-level gameplay. It's fucking terrifying. Now, when you're blocking, I can't really show off this computer right now, you'll get knocked back. Block is not going to be universally a good option, though, because if you block on a ledge, you will get into a teeter state, which is just a vulnerable state to get hit again. There are 2 different types of dash attack. You can dash attack with light attack, or you can dash attack with heavy attack. You can't do a dash attack from a standing position. You have to get some momentum. And until you get into this run animation, you cannot do a dash attack.
Oh, what a hit!
You'll end up doing your normal. Dash attacks are actually hit confirms, where if you get a dash attack on somebody, you can immediately do a different move, any move, or do just any action. You can just jump out of it. As long as you get a hit, you can immediately act, undo anything. Something you'll notice when you're playing the game is that there's significantly less opportunities of invulnerability that Smash seems to favor so much. There are 2 times that you are technically going to be able to roll, and that's off of teching, where you get hit into something and you hit the dash button and you will basically break the impact. So you can tech roll, and you can also roll from ledge as an F. You can lock your position to facing left or right by holding the strafe button. This allows you to just do attacks while facing the same direction without actually compromising your movement, essentially. Projectiles have a unique property in this game where every projectile can be reflected. I can also grab my own projectiles. So this can just lead into some funny mix-up stuff, but it also particularly makes zoning characters and abilities less strong inherently across the board. Whether it's a traditional fighter or a platform fighter, zoning mechanics are generally considered, I think, pretty annoying, at least for me personally. They're fun to play as, but always annoying to deal with. This mechanic and just dealing with projectiles across the board, I think it's just a genius way to make that zoning tool, to make the zoning tools of characters feel significantly less oppressive, but still useful in select situations. It's a fantastic idea. Did I just make that go faster? Yo, there's no spot dodge. There's no air dodge. All you have is this dash mechanic. And the dash mechanic, combined with this lack of invulnerability, makes the movement so much more important in all aspects. Now there is a plethora of just additional mechanics on top of this that you don't necessarily need to know for the rest, but I wanted to go over what the basics were to have an understanding of the game. This is the core. You've got a lot of wacky shit in the game as far as pros and cons go. I mean, I don't want to get too in depth with this because I don't think it really matters, but like noticeable cons. The proportions are really wacky across character. There's no voice lines. Blocking is really difficult to tell. It's a tiny little animation where they sort of raise their arms or something. The aesthetic of this game is just weird. Just pure and simple. This can just be improved upon, you know, either in the next game or with a fucking texture update or something. The online, when it's working, it's fucking amazing and everyone's connected. It's stable, you don't feel any input delay. It's so fantastic. But when it's not working, it's fucked. It's silly. You got just teleporting people on the one-sided rollback. Connections feel pretty inconsistent, but I take this over Smash delay-based fucking bullshit any day. A bad connection is a bad connection. And it is important to note that Ludosity is a team of 6 people, and the dude in charge of the netcode fixes is on vacation. And we've already had a patch that fixed a bunch of character problems, essentially. It's weird that the game doesn't have alternate costumes. It feels like this kind of like weird early access situation. They are getting added. It's just weird that they weren't in at the start. Now that pretty much does it for what is immediately noticeable as like a negative to the game right now. But fixes are on the way, content's on the way, and I've been having a fucking blast with the game as is. A big draw of the Smash Ultimate celebration of gaming is the just giant recognizable cast. The joy of multiple IPs and characters just coming together in any given area that's not Fortnite. Because if you've already got an attachment to the characters regardless of the game, then you're more likely to give it a shot. Look at all the Nintendo boys. You got Marlo, and Marlo is the SpongeBob of Super Smash Brothers. Guys, Garfield is coming to Smash Brothers. Just kidding, he's coming to Nickelodeon. That's real. One of the toughest things for the Nickelodeon game going forward from here to sequels is how do you homogenize the aesthetic and styles of all these different cartoon characters that are already going from 2D to 3D without taking away from how a character is supposed to look. You know, it's difficult to mishmash art styles, and especially such a wide variety when you take a look at these shows. You've got this incredibly difficult challenge of creating a style that can actually capably mesh everything together, and they didn't do a bad job. But the Nickelodeon game just feels and looks noticeably weird. You can just glance at it and be like, the fuck is that? And honestly, hopefully this just doesn't turn away too many people, because once you acclimate, you'll not notice it that much. You'll still notice it. It's funny though. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is an incredibly fun romp of a time in its current state, and I hope that it'll just continue to get better with how patch culture generally is, and the competitive focus of the game being what it is. It'll balance out. This is a game that's just fantastic at its foundation right now, and it's got some work to do. But I love this game, and you should support it. It's fantastic. It's just, it's gonna feel weird due to a lot of different reasons until you get a handle on the mechanics. Just keep up with it, you know, just check it out, look at it. Well, watch these tournaments, man. They're insane. These people are fucking nuts. With patch culture and the future additional characters, this game will have a happy little lifespan, not to mention it having bigger winnings available to the competitive community that Void will just be able to make absolute bank on. And that's exciting. I love this game. It's so fun. Play Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. You heard it here first, or second, or whenever you heard it. Thanks everybody for watching, and make sure you check out my Twitch channel where I play video games. We got Final Fantasy Marathon coming, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl in the future. Hell yeah. See you around, fellas. Twitch.tv/RedRiotRoss.